Hi folks, it's Succurso here again. I wanted to, in this video, talk a little bit about my Lord for Templar Crusade 01's campaign. For those of you that don't know and haven't checked out Templar Crusade 01, he is a long time YouTuber, really into his 40k, big into his 30k as well, and is just off the back of a rather large 30k campaign. So he chose this time to try with some friends to develop a chaos based campaign, and in that campaign you start out with a lord that you're meant to model up, and then you fight against other lords and you slowly gain in power depending on the victories and the defeats that your lord and his subsequent warband suffer. So this kind of inspired me, and I've talked about inspiration and I'll talk about it again, but this definitely did inspire me. And what you see before you is my lord. Now, I don't have much in the way of fluff for him, some half-formed ideas, and his name at the moment is simply Half-Man for obvious reasons. So yeah, what did I do for this guy? Well, I didn't really have that much in the way of chaos bits, so I took an old marine, or some bits from marines that I have. So you've got old sort of standard marine arms here. These are jump pack trooper legs. This was simply two chain swords stuck together from the assault marine sprue. Can have a wee look there. That's a very easy conversion, but for the eagle-eyed of you, you'll notice the one problem with this conversion is that the teeth of the chain swords go opposite directions. You could say, I suppose, that they're sort of running up inside it, but it's something that bugs me a little bit. I did, as I started this project, I did end up purchasing kit. It was the Chaos Raptors kit, so you'll see here this shoulder pad here is from that kit, and so is the gun there. And one of the sort of major conversion pieces that I did was to take a standard Space Marine helmet and a sort of bare head, and I cut away and filed down both of them before sticking them together. Now this, I think this works really well, and I've not seen anything like that before. But you might not see it in this video. It's just, I'm trying to, no, that's not going to work. It's just slightly out. When I glued it together, I think I was about 1/10 of a millimetre out in centering the head, the two pieces of the head, which when you look at it in person up close, it's just ever so slightly off. These things happen. The backpack, I had an couple of old chaos models, so I took the arm, or the what would you call this, this part of the backpack here from a chaos model, and simply chopped away part of the exhaust area, kept the wee exhaust part, glued that onto there, and then glued the whole thing in, some green stuff to sort of make it look a bit diseased. Because he is, if you haven't guessed already, Nurgle is where his allegiance lies. Other than that, work I did was to, let's see if we can get this in shot here. I did some work with green stuff. Hopefully that's coming out okay. Some pustules and other gribbly bits stuck onto him. A little spike coming out his knee. And some more green stuff work down there, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. He was then airbrushed first off to get the base coat, and I used, for the armour on this side, I used this colour here, which is Dark Sea Blue by Vallejo. It's in a model colour range. Lovely colour, I really like it. But I used that and a little bit of a very light grey, which I don't have to hand at the moment, unfortunately, just to bring up the highlight on that. his left hand side as you're looking at it, the whiter side was used some leather brown first off, and then build that up with adding, it's not bleached bone, it is a colour called ivory, again from model colour range by Vallejo. And the airbrushing on that side didn't go particularly well. I didn't get the sort of the gradient and the contrast on the white armour that I was really looking for, which is a shame. But the amount of weathering that I put on over the top of it and all the extra wee sort of gribbly bits that I was just talking about, really, it doesn't, it's something I noticed, but maybe other people wouldn't notice. And as I say, yes, there's been a lot of weathering on it. The armour was all chipped up during the assembly process. And then various different weathering effects used. I used the sponge technique, so taking a little bit of dark paint and then just dabbing it on using the sponge, and I did that with a sort of very dark grey. I then used some sort of orangey browns to go in and to add in wee rust spots. I've used some oil pigments from Tamiya, some sort of weathering pigments. In fact, I have them here. Only really used oil stain, this one here. I don't tend to use the other two, but this is great. And actually in this model, which hasn't happened to me before, I'm not sure why it did, but it gave a very, if you can see that there, sort of whitey streaking effect, but I quite liked it. I also ended up using some rust effects from TK Interactive on him. So yeah, I'm actually really happy with how he turned out. Finally, it was based on a Seabor demonic base here, which as you can see, I painted blue. These are the lovely little resin bases. You can pick these up directly from Seabor or off eBay. They weren't that expensive for £5. I think it was maybe £4 or something like that, £4 or £5 maybe at the most. But yeah, I thought I'd just post this up. This is for the folk in the campaign to see, my lord. They will have seen some photos on the Facebook page, if you remember. You might have seen the construction photos of this, and I think maybe at the end of this video I'll stick those up, so you can get an idea of what I was doing as I went along. And hopefully I'll be bringing some more videos on his warband, and they're going to be along the same lines. I was thinking of putting some cultists in, but I don't have the parts and the models, and they'd be quite time intensive in terms of modelling them up to the standard that would match this, whereas I think I can probably get some Marines up to the standard a bit quicker, and then maybe that gives me the opportunity to add in a few other bits and pieces. I would like to try my hand at modelling some obliterators up, and I do, because it might happen to him during the campaign, but I do want to get his Demon Prince version up and running, although knowing my luck, it's more likely to turn into a spawn. Okay folks, I think that'll do for the moment, so yeah, take care and join me in the next video. Thanks.